Good evening, this is the Oscar expert here with Brother Bro. Beep beep emergency alert. Dune has been delayed to 2024. It's been delayed to mid-March.
We're all a little upset about it.
The studios are not willing to meet the demands of SAG, and they think that their movie's not going to make any money if the actors can't promote it. This means that you won't get to see the movie when you want to, but it also means, more importantly, that the Oscar season has a shakeup going on. We all know that's the most important part of this. And we're going to talk about what this means, the big implications. Much deja vu, first of all, to like 2020 when the original Dune got delayed.
First thing that I thought when I thought, oh no, I can't, after I thought I can't see this movie, oh no, I thought Oppenheimer, holy shit, Oppenheimer is gonna win a fucking ton of Oscars now. And it was already supposed to win a bunch, but it had competition from Dune, right? All these tech categories that Oppenheimer is seeming like it's number 1 or 2 in. Now it just seems like it's the number 1 and in a runaway.
And which categories are these? Well, editing, sound, score, we already thought that Oppenheimer was number 1, and for every single one of those categories, Dune was arguably like a competitor. Now that's just not a thing.
Now cinematography is real interesting because I think we still had Dune in for cinematography. We still didn't take it out of that one. And now, do you put Oppenheimer at number 1 now that you don't have Dune there? Or do you find something else?
Tell me what something else would be. Tell me what something else would be. It's Oppenheimer all the way for cinematography. It really just is.
Oh yeah. I think it probably is too.
I mean, Hoyt von Hoytema hasn't won an Oscar. People just say, look, Oppenheimer, I associate that movie with like very big, beautiful images.
And I wouldn't hate if cinematography went another way, but I do think that it makes sense that this is now the front runner.
Dune was the only other big, giant spectacle movie contending in a lot of these tech categories. Killers of the Flower Moon is just kind of check off a bunch of nominations and not really win anything, probably.
Is there any more tech categories?
Visual effects. Now listen, everybody.
Yeah, what the hell am I supposed to do in visual effects?
This is my most important personal update in my relationship with my own predictions. Listen here.
Wow.
In our other predictions videos, we said Oppenheimer, no have CGI, and therefore it not getting nominated for visual effects. But listen, visual effects does technically encompass practical effects. Now, the Oscars haven't nominated a movie in the visual effects category since, like, I don't even know when, probably like at least the 80s, that doesn't have any CGI. They do not give this award to movies just for practical effects. However, now that Dune's not here, and there's no clear, like, number 2, like, is it the creator? Like, meh.
Could be the creator, though.
Is it Guardians? No. That's not gonna win. It'll get nominated. It's not gonna win. With this lack of competition, like, I'm actually not convinced about Spider-Verse still. I think Rebel Moon, the trailer made me think that's just a Zack Snyder thing that they're gonna ignore. I think that there's room for Oppenheimer to sneak in for a nomination. I think the nomination could be a bigger obstacle than even the win. Because honestly, I think that when Academy members see that, they'll go, I like how that movie used visual effects. I love that they created like a little bomb and they filmed it in their cool little ways. People understand that Nolan like did this cool practical effects thing. There's a story behind how they did it. It's interesting to find out how they did it. And there's like, some high-tech movie magic going on in the way that they made it. And it may not involve CGI, but I think it might be enough for it to win.
I think I'm gonna put the creator at number 1. I think it's cool that they did it in the way they did it, but it's mostly people talking in rooms. There's about 100 VFX shots in this movie. Most of the VFX are compositing, so they shot all of these little effects in camera and they composited over other images. That's really what we're talking about here. I'm fine with saying it gets nominated, but I also wonder why not the creator? If that has some really stunning visual effects, why can't that just win?
It might, but the creator is not contending in any other categories, most likely. I mean, the last movie that won with just a VFX nomination was Jungle Book. Tenet only got one other nomination. Ex Machina only got one other nomination. But that's another category that Oppenheimer can win now that I didn't think that it would have a chance winning because of Dune.
Right now, you're saying it adds 2 wins to Oppenheimer's basket. It's a very heavy trophy basket right now. Will it keep that momentum all the way through? I don't know, but I think it's still hard for me to imagine a scenario where Oppenheimer doesn't win director and then tech sweep.
But it also might get an acting award or 2 and picture on top of it, and it could outwin Everything Everywhere All at Once. It's like a real possibility. Even though that was the first movie to sweep in a long time, maybe Oppenheimer's another sweeper. The fall fest are on the horizon. There's still a lot that could happen with frontrunners.
I don't take that much stock into this, but when I went through and deleted Dune from my predictions, I found that I was boosting up poor things. Production design, costumes, cinematography,
makeup. Well, I already had those in.
Yeah.
But now it's even more. And and
screenplay as well.
Adapted screenplay, very interesting. I mean, what about All of Us Strangers? What if that movie gets like a screenplay nomination. Quite interesting to consider.
And for Best Picture, I mean, did you put in anything else new, or you just shoved Zone of Interest and Anatomy of a Fall in there?
I'm not really concerned about that right now because I know these movies are going to premiere so soon.
Yeah.
That I'm just kind of waiting for the Fall Fest.
Sure. I gotta say, I'm really getting skeptical that Spider-Verse gets tech categories except for score. Getting really skeptical of that.
I'm getting worried that Spider-Verse has RRR syndrome,
Yeah.
which is like, sure, maybe you can argue that there's passion for the movie, but
Yeah.
where will you nominate it? That's why I think Spider-Verse, when the Academy does their shortlist, if it's not in like sound and score, visual effects either way, I don't really care. But at least sound and score. If it's not at least in both of those, I'm like, Jesus Christ. I also think editing looks slim. Why do I have the holdovers at number 3 for editing? Can you tell me that? What's going on there? I don't understand. Clear open slot in costumes, I think. You know, one other thought that I had is that if the Academy goes nuts for Oppenheimer and they over-nominate it in costumes and makeup,
Which they could do, yeah.
that would make it 14 nominations if they nominated it like everywhere else that they could.
Well, maybe Matt Damon will get double nominated in
Sure.
supporting.
If you double nominate Matt Damon, then it gets to 15.
That's fucked, though. There's no way.
I wouldn't say no way, but it would be fucked.
Do you think there's a way that Matt Damon gets nominated on top of 14 other nominations? No. No.
It's not a 0% chance, is it?
Do you think that March hurts Dune for next year?
I just feel like Dune's so mandatory and like 8 texts that what else are you gonna do?
It's interesting for a movie like that to just go release in March and then sustain buzz until the end of the year. Because usually if you come out then, you're not expecting to get Oscar nominations.
Well, Dune 2 might outgross Dune 1, and that would look very good for it as long as it has the reviews and the box office. I think that's fine.
It's gonna be just fine. But I don't think that for Dune, the Oscars are its priority. I think it just wants to make money at the box office, and it's really confident that it can do that. And whether it gets Oscars or not is nice.
Oh, and another thing that people have done in the wake of this, you know, people who like to play a little studio chess, as we like to call it, as I just made up and said that we like to call it, we never called it before, studio chess, when you say, oh, Warner Brothers has Barbie and Dune and The Color Purple, they can't squeeze all these in there. So once Dune's out, oh, now Barbie's in. We're going to shove Barbie in there. Look, Barbie was in there. Barbie was in there already.
Yeah.
Is there one tech award that's not going to go to Oppenheimer or Barbie?
Oh, yeah.
Even down to song. Even down to song.
Makeup?
Makeup might go to Maestro, that's right.
Makeup will probably go to Maestro.
Makeup's not going to go to Barbie or Oppenheimer.
Makeup's going to go to Maestro.
So, like, literally, that might be the only movie that wins a tech.
Barbenheimer tech sweep. Wow.
I mean, I don't know if that just feels like a narrow way to, or like an unrealistic vision of the future. But at the same time, like, those movies have bigger budgets than, like, everything else that's about to come out this year. I don't see any fall festival movies that are matching that scope.
If Poor Things was huge, I would wonder if it could win cinematography, costumes, or production design.
Venice Telluride and Toronto Film Fest are all gonna happen very soon. So you're just gonna have to stay tuned for that. This is basically like a weird last minute, and also rambly update on the Oscars now that something actually happened. And we can't wait to see you at Toronto. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing.
Do you think Dune will win more Oscars or less Oscars now?